Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. And today we're going to be cracking the code on ciphers.
Ooh, I like that.
That's clever little ways of hiding information that have been around for centuries.
Yeah, they have.
From the ancient Greeks, literally tattooing secrets on people's heads,
Right.
to the digital codes that are running your phone right now.
That's right.
Get ready for some aha moments, because you might be surprised just how simple but effective some of these early methods really were.
Yeah, it's true. The history of ciphers is so full of surprises, and you're right, we'll be covering a lot of ground, from historical ciphers, like ones used in optical telegraphs,
Okay.
to modern digital methods, and even one specifically for the telegraph.
Now, before we go any further, I have a confession to make. I always get ciphers and codes mixed up.
Oh.
Can you break it down for us? What exactly is the difference?
Sure. So imagine you have a secret dictionary where red apple means meet at the park.
Okay.
That's a code substituting whole words or phrases. A cipher, on the other hand, scrambles individual letters or bits using an algorithm.
Okay.
It's like taking a message and putting it through a blender.
Oh.
You need the right recipe or key to put it back together.
Ah, that makes sense. So a code is like swapping out whole ingredients while a cipher is like curing them into something unrecognizable.
That's a great way to put it.
Now, our sources mention some pretty wild historical methods. Is it true that people used to shave messengers' heads to send secret messages?
Yes. The ancient Greek historian Herodotus tells a story of a message tattooed on a servant's scalp, hidden until his hair grew back,
Oh my gosh.
then shaved again at the destination.
Wow.
That's actually not a cipher, though. It's called steganography,
Okay.
concealing the very existence of a message.
Talk about commitment. It makes you wonder what other creative hiding places people have used throughout history.
Well, moving beyond head shaving, we have optical telegraphs. These systems use towers with large, movable arms to signal messages across long distances. It's like semaphore on a grand scale.
I read about a system that used a code called the Chape code, with those giant arms creating different signals. How many different messages could they send with just arm positions?
The Chapo code was incredibly ingenious.
Yeah.
By using different combinations of arm positions, they could create nearly 100 unique signals,
Wow.
enough to transmit a wide range of messages.
That's pretty impressive.
It is. It's fascinating how they translated entire messages using just visual cues. And wasn't there another system that was basically a giant visual binary code?
You're thinking of the Swedish Edelkrantz code?
Oh,
Instead of arms, they used shutters,
okay.
each representing a binary value. Combinations of open and closed shutters formed octal numbers,
Gotcha.
which then corresponded to letters and words.
That's amazing. It's like they were using binary code before computers even existed.
Exactly. It shows how the concept of representing information with simple standardized elements was already present, even in those early communication systems. These early optical telegraphs are impressive, but they seem limited by visibility and distance. Did those challenges lead to the development of electrical telegraphs?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The need for faster, more reliable communication over longer distances spurred the development of electrical telegraphy.
Okay.
And with that came a whole new set of codes.
Speaking of electrical telegraphs, didn't those use their own unique codes as well? I imagine those early systems were pretty complex.
You're right, there were many different codes used in the early days of electrical telegraphy.
Yeah.
One of the earliest used commercially was the Cook and Wheatstone 5-needle code.
5-needle code.
As you might guess, it used 5 needles to point to different letters on a display.
5 needles. That sounds like it could get confusing fast. Was it really more efficient than just spelling out the message?
It was visually clear,
Yeah.
as each needle pointed directly to a letter. But it was also expensive and complicated because it required 5 wires.
Yeah, that makes sense.
To simplify things, they later developed a 1-needle code.
So it's like going from a 5-lane highway down to a single lane.
Exactly. The 1-needle code was simpler and cheaper, but it did sacrifice some speed and clarity.
Sure.
There was always a trade-off between efficiency and ease of use.
It seems like there was this constant push and pull between getting the message across quickly and making sure it was accurate.
You hit the nail on the head, and then, of course, we have the game-changer Morse code.
Oh, yeah.
It revolutionized telegraphy with its elegant system of dots and dashes.
Ah, yes, the classic dots and dashes. But wasn't there a difference between American and international Morse code?
Good catch. Samuel Morse initially designed his code for transmitting numbers,
Okay.
which would then be translated using a code book.
Wow.
His partner, Alfred Vail, suggested using it for letters, too.
Okay.
That led to the dots and dashes we know today.
So the Morse code we know today isn't even what Morse originally intended.
Exactly. But to answer your question about American and International Morse, there were indeed key differences.
Okay.
American Morse used varying lengths of dashes and spaces, which made it faster, but also more prone to errors.
Gotcha.
International Morse, with its fixed lengths, was slower but more reliable, especially over long distances.
It sounds like the telegraph operators of the day had to be multilingual in Morse code.
You could say that it highlights how even seemingly simple codes could get tangled up in technological rivalries and standardization issues. But let's shift gears now and talk about automatic telegraph codes. This is where things get really interesting.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. I love these moments. What changed when machines started sending telegraphs instead of humans?
Well, while Morse code worked beautifully for human operators, machines needed something more structured and less prone to errors.
Okay.
Enter Émile Baudot and his 5-bit binary code, a game changer for machine-readable communication.
5 bits. We were just talking about the 5-needle telegraph. Any connection.
Not directly, but both highlight the drive for simpler machine-friendly systems. Baudot's genius was using a fixed length for each character, making it easier for mechanical processing. But 5 bits limits you to only 32 characters. Not enough for a full alphabet, numbers, and punctuation.
That's a good point. How do they get around that limitation?
That's where shift codes come in.
Okay.
Think of it like the shift key on your keyboard.
Gotcha.
By using a special shift character, you temporarily switch to a different set of characters,
Oh.
doubling what you can represent.
So it's a bit like a secret decoder ring switching between sets of symbols. Clever, but wouldn't that make sending messages more complex?
It added complexity for sure, but the benefits outweighed the drawbacks.
Okay.
And Baudot's code laid the groundwork for even more automated systems. One example is Donald Murray's Murray code,
Okay.
designed for use with punched paper tape.
Punched paper tape, like those rolls of paper with holes in them. I remember seeing those in old movies.
Exactly. This is where we start seeing the transition from human-operated systems to more automated ones. Instead of an operator tapping out each dot and dash, they would punch the code into the tape, and a machine would read and transmit it.
Wow, that's a huge leap forward in speed and efficiency. But even with these advancements, I imagine those 5-bit codes eventually hit their limits, especially with the rise of computers.
You're absolutely right. Computers needed a code that could represent more than just letters, numbers, and punctuation.
Yeah.
They needed a way to handle all sorts of symbols, instructions, and eventually different languages.
So they needed a bigger boat, so to speak. What came next?
That bigger boat arrived in the form of the 7-bit ASCII code developed in the 1960s. It quickly became the standard for teleprinters, and importantly, computers think of it as the foundation for how computers talk to each other.
ASCII, that sounds familiar. Why was it so important for the development of computers?
ASCII was designed with computers in mind from the start.
Okay.
It included lowercase letters, punctuation, and critically controlled characters specifically for computers. It was like creating a universal language for the digital world.
So ASCII was basically the Rosetta Stone of the digital age. That makes a lot of sense. But even with all those characters, I imagine the 7-bit code eventually ran into limitations, especially with the explosion of different languages and scripts used on computers.
You're sharp. As computers became more powerful and interconnected, we needed a code that could handle the world's writing systems.
Yeah.
Enter Unicode, a 16-bit code that could represent a vast array of characters from Latin to Cyrillic to Chinese and beyond.
Unicode, isn't that what lets us see emojis and all sorts of crazy symbols on our phones and computers?
Precisely. Unicode was a monumental leap forward, allowing computers to handle complex logograms like Chinese characters, as well as special symbols and even extinct languages.
Wow.
It's like having a universal translator built right into our devices.
That's incredible. From a handful of signals on an optical telegraph to millions of characters in Unicode, the evolution of codes is mind-blowing. But let's loop back to something we touched on earlier, steganography. You mentioned head-shading messengers. But are there more modern examples of hiding information in plain sight?
Absolutely. In the digital age, steganography often involves concealing information within digital files like images, audio, or even text documents.
Wait, you mean there could be secret messages hidden in the photos on my phone?
It's entirely possible by subtly altering the digital data. For example, changing the least significant bits in an image file, you can embed a message without any noticeable change to the image.
That's both fascinating and a little creepy.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what kinds of messages might be hidden out there, but wouldn't experts be able to spot those changes pretty easily?
There are techniques to detect steganography, but it's a constant arms race between those hiding information and those trying to find it.
Yeah.
It's like a digital game of hide and seek.
So steganography is used for both good and bad. I imagine like protecting copyrights or in the wrong hands for nefarious purposes.
You're right, steganography has a wide range of applications, from legitimate uses like watermarking to more clandestine activities like espionage or covert communication.
Right.
It all depends on the intentions of the user.
Speaking of intentions, one of our sources mentioned something called cover coding. What exactly is that?
Covert coding blends cryptography and steganography. Imagine you encrypt a message using a cipher and then hide that ciphertext within another message,
Huh.
like an email or a social media post.
Okay.
It's like hiding a secret message inside a seemingly ordinary one.
Double the secrecy. It reminds me of spy movies, where they hide coded messages within seemingly harmless conversations.
Exactly. Cover coding adds another layer of obfuscation, making it difficult to even detect that a secret message exists, let alone decipher it.
That's brilliant. It's fascinating how these techniques have evolved to become so sophisticated. But with all this talk about creating and breaking codes, I'm curious about the tools people use. Is there special software for encryption and steganography?
You bet there's a whole world of encryption software out there, ranging from simple tools for personal use to complex platforms used by governments and corporations.
Wow.
It's a constantly evolving field driven by the need for ever stronger security.
So someone could download an app on their phone and start encrypting their messages.
Absolutely. Many user-friendly apps and programs allow you to encrypt your emails, messages, and even files with a few clicks. It's like having your own personal code-making machine.
That's pretty empowering. It gives individuals the power to protect their privacy and communication.
Exactly. Of course, not all encryption software is created equal.
Right.
Some use basic ciphers that are relatively easy to break, while others employ advanced algorithms that are nearly impossible to crack.
So it's important to choose your encryption tools carefully based on your needs and the sensitivity of the information you're protecting.
Precisely. And it's always a good idea to stay informed about the latest developments in cryptography.
Yeah.
New threats and vulnerabilities are constantly emerging, making it a cat-and-mouse game between code makers and code breakers.
It's like a digital arms race.
Yeah.
But speaking of breaking codes, are there any examples of when supposedly unbreakable ciphers have been cracked?
No cipher is truly unbreakable. With enough time, resources, and ingenuity, any code can be cracked.
Oh, wow.
History is full of examples of ciphers once thought to be impenetrable, only to be deciphered later.
Do you have any specific examples? I'm a sucker for a good code-breaking story.
One of the most famous examples is the Enigma machine used by the Germans during World War II.
Okay.
It was an incredibly complex electromechanical cipher machine that generated incredibly difficult codes.
I've heard of that. Didn't Alan Turing and his team at Bletchley Park crack the Enigma code?
They did. It was a monumental achievement that significantly impacted the Allied victory.
Wow.
Cracking Enigma allowed them to intercept and decipher German military communications, giving them a crucial advantage.
That's an incredible story. It shows that even the most sophisticated ciphers can be vulnerable to human ingenuity and determination.
Exactly. It underscores the importance of constantly innovating and improving our encryption methods to stay ahead of those who seek to break them. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground, from simple substitution ciphers to complex algorithms and even the world of steganography. It's clear that the art of hiding information has played a vital role in shaping our communication systems and technologies. But I'm curious, with a constant evolution of technology, what does the future hold for ciphers?
That's a great question. The landscape of cryptography is always shifting with the rise of quantum computing. Traditional encryption methods are facing a new challenge.
So are current methods of encryption going to become obsolete? What will ciphers look like in the future?
That's a question cryptographers are grappling with right now. One promising area of research is post-quantum cryptography, which aims to develop algorithms that are resistant to attacks from quantum computers.
It sounds like we're on the cusp of another major shift in the world of ciphers. But before we wrap up, I wanted to circle back to something you mentioned earlier, a list of ciphertexts. What exactly is that?
Yes. A list of ciphertexts is essentially a collection of encrypted messages that have yet to be deciphered. Think of it as a digital library of unsolved mysteries.
So like a treasure trove of secret messages just waiting to be unlocked. Are there any famous unsolved ciphertexts that people are still trying to crack?
Oh, absolutely. One famous example is the Voynich manuscript, a mysterious book written in an unknown script and filled with strange illustrations.
I've heard of that it's been baffling scholars and code breakers for centuries. What makes it so difficult to decipher?
That's part of the mystery. Some believe it's a complex cipher, others think it might be a hoax. Countless attempts have been made to crack its code. But so far, the Voynich manuscript remains a tantalizing enigma.
It's incredible. It makes you wonder what secrets those pages hold. Are there other unsolved ciphertexts out there?
Many unsolved ciphertexts are out there, each with its own story and potential for uncovering hidden knowledge. Some are historical mysteries, while others are modern puzzles or challenges created by cryptography enthusiasts.
It's like a real-life treasure hunt for information, it seems like. Even in the digital age, there are still secrets waiting to be revealed.
Yeah, it really is like a digital treasure hunt, except the treasure is knowledge. We've gone from ancient head shaving to digital hide and seek.
And it has been a fascinating journey.
It has.
So what's the key takeaway for our listeners today? What should they be thinking about after learning all this about ciphers?
I think the biggest takeaway is this information is power, and controlling access to that information, keeping it secret or sharing it selectively has always been a driving force in human history.
That's a really powerful thought. And with the explosion of data in our digital world, it seems like the importance of cryptography and steganography is only going to grow.
Absolutely. As we move forward, it's crucial to be aware of the many ways information can be hidden, protected, and even manipulated.
So we should all be more mindful of this invisible world of ciphers that surrounds us.
Exactly. And maybe even a little bit more curious about the secrets that might be hidden in plain sight.
Well said. Thank you for guiding us through this deep dive into the world of ciphers. It's been a truly enlightening conversation.
It's been my pleasure. I always enjoy sharing the wonders of cryptography and steganography with curious minds.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of secret messages and hidden codes. We hope you learned something new and maybe even sparked a bit of curiosity about the unseen world of information security that surrounds us. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those minds sharp.
Yeah, and it really drives home the point that we all leave these digital footprints.
Right.
And with things like steganography and cover coding, it's a reminder that there's so much more going on beneath the surface.
It's true. It's like we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly.
So much more happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, and it's a reminder that, knowledge is power, and the way we protect and control access to information is going to continue to be a huge challenge as we move forward.
It really makes you think about the responsibility we have as individuals and as a society to use these powerful tools wisely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this has been such a fascinating deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much.
Me too.
And I'm sure our listeners have as well. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. I'm always happy to talk about ciphers and all the cool stuff.
Well, to our listeners, we hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of ciphers. It's a reminder that information is power, and the way we protect it and share it is more important than ever. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those minds sharp.